Guys in the Golf.
Well, we've just spent the last hour doing a TikTok live with Snaggabar and Andy Total Carnage, which was a little bit different for us. Yeah, something we haven't done before.
Oh, it was good fun.
It was, yeah.
Good fun.
Yeah, we probably got halfway through it and I realised, I'm actually enjoying this. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how many. I think the number up the top right tells you how many people are in watching right now, and I think the highest the number got to was like 15 or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But it was constant throughout the whole thing. So as people leave, someone else joins. So there might have been a total of, I don't know, maybe 50 or 100 people throughout the whole thing that at least came in and stayed for a while. So that's pretty good for something we sort of just spur of the moment.
Yeah, last minute thing. Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And it was pretty cool. We got to use the Roadcaster here.
That was really cool being able to like plug in and do everything. Yeah.
So this controlled all the audio for us. We could hear what they were saying through the headphones and they could hear us through the microphones. So there'd be no echo on our end and no road trains driving past and like Snagger on his front deck there.
Oh, you should have tried the robot, mate.
Yeah, I thought about it, doing the old sound effect there. Yeah. I pulled the air horn out, which the look on Snagger's face when I was like,
what's that?
Was that? He's like, I've been flagged. They're going to take me down, delete my account.
That was good fun.
Yeah.
That was good fun. Thanks, Snagger. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's weird. It feels like we've been recording for an hour already because we've literally been sitting here with doing this, and probably
essentially doing a podcast.
Live.
Just live.
Yeah, so I suppose jump on TikTok and give me a follow. Give Guys in the Golf a follow, and give Mikey Cunningham a follow on there. And I think it's something we're going to do a little bit more often. I reckon you could pop up either as yourself or as Guys in the Golf if I was using my account.
Yeah,
if you're at your house even, or if I was in Darwin, and you could open you up in a box there,
Yeah.
And I'll teach you how to do that background thing, because that's like it's a little bit of a little hack you do.
No, good stuff, mate. That was good fun.
Yeah.
Good fun. So, we've had actually a pretty eventful bloody, I don't know, what week or?
Yeah, since the last podcast, we've had great fun. Sometimes at the time it might not have felt fun at some of the moments, but
it was fun for me, mate. It was fun for me most of the time. Yeah, there's a couple of little hiccups there, but it's all right.
So, I suppose we'll just get straight into that. We did do an overnighter. It's at the time, early to mid February, right in the middle of the wet season, storm season. And we decided to do an overnighter, 100 k's from home. 3 boats, 3 blokes, man against the sea.
It was good fun.
Ash was raw dogging it. No sounder, like in a 4.2, 4.5, whatever it is, metre tinny. No sounder, tiller steer. Yeah. So I had nothing to complain about, and that's what made it really good for me in my head. Like me being by myself in that big Barramaster. And having you up the front in that little thing, I'm like, oh, look, if he can do it, I can do it. Yeah. Although the trip over, I don't even know where to start with this trip.
Well, we started by just originally we were just going to do a day trip somewhere.
That's right.
And then Shredder was here. Shredder we've had on the podcast before. Shredder was here and we spoke to him and said, we're going to do a trip somewhere, do something. And we looked at the tides and I think I might have even suggested let's go somewhere where neither of you guys have been before.
Yeah.
We'll go up the coast and go and find a little creek somewhere where we can go and camp in overnight. And actually, originally, we weren't even going to camp overnight. We were just going to do a day trip.
Yeah, that would have been a big trip for a day, but still, that was the plan.
It would have been a massive trip for a day.
Well, it's 2.5 hours each way, really, travel.
Yeah.
So 5 hours travel.
Yeah, so we ended up deciding to just do an overnighter.
Well, it wasn't decided. It was more that you and Shredder just had to talk me into it to make me think it's a good idea.
Well, we were going to just take your boat because obviously you got a big, nice boat, and it would have just been sort of easy. But then we were like, okay, well, maybe we'll take a couple of boats because it is a long way and it's this time of year. So if something goes wrong, it'd be nice to have a backup. And then it's like, well, if we're going to take 2 boats, we may as well take 3, and then and just take some swags and go camp. So
yeah.
And actually I was going to bring that up later. Actually, I just got a new swag, so I was pretty keen to pretty keen to give it a workout.
Yeah.
Which I did. Yeah. So
for me, this trip was full of anxiety. The actual planning of it. It's one of those things like I was not excited to go. I knew I would enjoy it. Deep down, I know I did, but there's so many variables where I'm like, oh, what if we get a storm? What if it's really rough? What if I get seasick? What if, like anxiety, it's not rational. Like it's worrying about things that haven't happened, you know? And I can't always come back to this. There's a YouTube channel that I watch called Yes Theory. And they make cool videos all around the world. And their thing is like they always just say yes to people, you know, or they invite strangers to, like, do you have a passport? Yes. All right. Do you want to come to Afghanistan with us right now? And it's like, they've got like, it's the idea of just saying yes. And their tagline is seek discomfort. And I find any time with a video that I make, if it's something I've gone to an effort, like if it's, seek discomfort. Like if it's out of your comfort zone, like it's going to be good. And I just had to keep remembering that. And as a result, I'm so happy we did the trip. And even as you hear the story as it goes on, there were some not so good times. But I didn't complain. I don't think I really complained once.
No, that was pretty good.
Which I am a famous complainer.
No, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was good. Well, we left here at, and it was
Not even early.
Yeah, gentlemen's hours when we started.
We planned to meet at 6. I was there maybe 6:15.
Yeah, it wasn't that early that we couldn't go to the bar the night before and have a few patterns.
Yeah.
So, so we met up just around 6 o'clock and helped each other launch our boats, and then started poking off down the river as the tide was really good because the high tide was in the evening. So we have run out tide running down the river, and the river's up at the moment because it's a little bit flooded, not really flooded, but it is up. So it was a good run down with the tide and the flow. So we had a fairly quick run down to the mouth, and then got down to the mouth of the river, pulled up, had a breakfast beer. Shredder had a couple of tallies.
Oh, yeah.
King Browns,
Melbourne Bitter.
So he busted a couple of them out, and then and as you mentioned already, I was sort of raw dog and I had no sound and no nothing. So and out the front was low tide, so I'm like, well, you're gonna have to sort of guide us out the channel.
I hardly did anything though. It wasn't until we got to that bend in the crooked, that I've got a track through there. So yeah.
So then we got out in the flats there and got into some deep water, and it was an absolute glass off, like proper territory glass off. Morning, sun's coming up, just plenty of cloud cover, nice and cool. It was actually almost cold going down the river. Like I was just shorts and thongs, but it was actually almost cold going down the river. So getting out the front and then having this beautiful glass off, just a very, very slight sort of rolling sort of swell sort of thing. Just cruising along was just perfect. Like, yeah. Oh,
it's so much fun for me as well, trying to create content, like, get photos and videos and that. It just made it so cool. We could all come up next to each other and get different shots there. Yeah. Oh, man. It was just the thing dreams are made of. Probably literally the trip over was my favorite part of the trip. Like this, it's just like.
Mine was rafting up camping, but we'll get to that. We can get to that in a bit. But it was good fun getting over there, and then getting into the creek. There was a nice deep channel getting in there. I haven't been down for 4 or 5 years, 6 years or something since I've been there, probably longer. And getting in there was good. Didn't think it would be. Got in there, pulled up, and then had a couple of beers right at the front. Just got the Starlink Mini, so had that set up, and then checked on the Super Bowl score.
Yeah, that's right. Absolute game changer, the Starlink Mini.
So good.
All in one unit. And that was, even just to be able to contact, like send a message home. So, we got over here. We're all good. Yep, having fun.
Well, the best thing is being able to check the satellite imagery and see what the storms are doing. Yeah. So you can work out if you got plenty of time to do something, or should you just like make a plan to bunker down somewhere for a bit while the squalls come through or whatever. So that's a massive bonus having the Starlink Mini. But it was good. Good. We pulled up there and had a couple of beers and just pretty much got straight into it. And because obviously we all had a boat each. So initially we sort of all went our own way.
Yeah.
Everyone sort of cruised around and sort of kept working their way up the river and, finding little spots to fish. And
the first spot you pulled up at was productive.
Yeah, the water was a lot higher than I anticipated.
Yeah.
But pulled up a little runoff sort of creek, running in off the flats because obviously the water had been a lot higher than what I thought it would have been. So
Yeah, because at this stage, we've sort of just arrived really. At this stage, we didn't realise how high the water was yet until we moved upstream. I went up there before you and it was an inland sea up there, and which is just so hard to get your head around considering we have had bugger all rain.
Yeah.
So it's all like salt flats, so just the flats around the creeks and that. So it's not like floodplain country. Like it's not the floodplains you'd expect to see.
It looks like the floodplains if you're at the top of like one of them creeks, but there's no like it's all salt water.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a bit of rainwater because we've just had a heap of rain.
Yeah.
We just had a heap of rain the last week leading up to
in
it.
24 hours sort of thing. Yeah.
So it rained all that night before we left.
Yeah, that's right.
So obviously there's a bit of fresh water mixing with it, but predominantly it was because the tide had been going up onto those flats, which I've never seen it like that before.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. But yeah, it wasn't what we anticipated.
No, but still incredible to see though. Like, yeah, I've never seen anything like that around here.
Literally like an inland sea. So when we did actually venture right the way to the top, the only part of the area that's out of the water is literally just right on the bank of the, you'd see some salt bush and some mangroves and stuff. But then beyond that, there's just water as far as the eye can see, like for forever.
Yeah.
So, it was, blew my mind when I finally made it up there. But I pulled up at that first spot and, dropped anchor.
Down towards the mouth, yeah.
Yeah, thought I better do some quality control on the esky and keep an eye on the Super Bowl score. And, ended up getting a couple of barra there pretty well. I got 3 barra and 3 casts at one spot. And, when I landed one, I dropped one. Yeah, dropped 1 barra and then a reasonable barra, and then I got smoked, got busted off. Then tied a new lure on and then landed that one.
Yep.
And then I tried to get you on the radio and said, Mikey, come back down to where I'm at.
3 barra and 3 casts. I'm like, all right, on my way.
Got 3 and 3, mate. Come back down. And you ended up coming back down, and then it went sort of quiet because I think we sort of missed the window a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you went again, and then I stayed there for about another hour and a half or something, and then just kept trying. And every sort of 20 minutes, half an hour or so, you'd get a barra and bloody, ended up getting a few there. And you and Shredder kept going further up and
way up the top,
trying some different spots.
Yeah, so it wasn't until very late in the day I got my first barra, which was undersized, just a little fella, right down near the mouth. So I was starting to feel like, oh, geez, I've come a long way here to not catch any fish.
Well, the plan, I suppose we should say, like the plan was to get into the creek as the tide's pushing in. We knew we would arrive there around about low tide, and we even thought that we may have to wait out the front before we can even get in there.
Yeah, and push our way in with the tide. Yeah.
Having said that, when we got there, the channel was like nearly 2 meters deep,
and just straight in.
Went straight in. When I went up to the spot where I anticipated spending most of the time, that was 2.5 meters more water than I anticipated, and it was like, wow. So the plan was to basically get as far up the creek as we could as the water's coming in, go up with the incoming tide, and then get to this spot where usually the barras congregate right on the edge of the massive big salt flats. And they're all waiting there because generally when the water gets up there high enough, the water will push up over those salt flats and all the bait can get up there, but the fish can't because it's only very shallow still. However, when we went up there, even at the low tide, there was a metre of water up over those flats. So all the fish were obviously, well, not all the fish, but obviously a lot of the fish would have been right up there, miles and miles away, where you're definitely not game to take your tinny up there, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've probably by now brought up some shots already of what we're talking about, but if you're just listening to this, To give you an idea of like we call it it looks like an inland sea. Like to get the drone up to get some footage, like you'd swear you're looking out into the ocean, and when the shot's pointing out, but you're like, oh wait a sec, no, the ocean's that way. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But so we just sort of we pretty much did our own thing for that whole day until later on in the afternoon. We all jumped on my boat and we just went for a cruise. Yeah. Just a bit of exploring, have a couple of beers. And then, then the storm sort of started to come in a bit closer. And we thought, before it gets dark, we better sneak in.
Well, all day had been sort of overcast and that. Like we absolutely aced the weather.
Oh, definitely.
Like there's a glass off over there. It was a sort of overcast.
It wasn't hot.
Low level cloud. Once we got over there, the breeze picked up. We probably had 10, 15 knots of breeze all day. So there's no mosquitoes, no sandflies. It was cool. Like everything was just sort of perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
Wasn't until it got close to dark and then and then all of the all the planets sort of aligned for the storms to roll in. And we're like, okay, we better.
You even got the Starlink set up. You had checked in on the radar, and it looked at it. Well, okay, I think we better go back and get set up for the night.
Yeah, let's get sorted. So we went back, and because we'd all gone in your boat for a trip, we left Shredder's boat and my boat anchored in the middle of the river. Yep. So we dropped Shredder back at his boat, and then you dropped me back at my boat. We tied off to my boat, and then Shredder came up, tied off on the other side. Yep. So we're all hanging off my anchor. Yep. Which in foresight wasn't the best idea. Because I had the smallest anchor, the smallest chain out of everyone. I was only in a little tinny. So, but we set our tarps up and try to give us a bit of shelter and that. And then it started belting down and the wind came through and it got reasonably windy, but we cooked a feed and that, had the sizzle box going on the front deck and cooked up some
mangrove jack.
Shredder caught a real nice mangrove jack and he cleaned that, filleted it, cut it up. You made some
flour coating
stuff, which was really good. And so cooked that up and cooked up some, I can't even remember. We had some fish wraps.
On wraps,
and then we had some sausages or something.
Them kofters.
Oh, that's right.
They were good.
Yeah, the Middle Eastern bloody.
They're so bizarre, those things. The kofters, like, there's a flavour in it. I was saying to you at the time.
It's like a sausage on a stick that doesn't have a sausage skin on it.
But it's like an Arab style or Turkish or somewhere that over there somewhere. And there's flavours in it that I just can't tell you what they are. Like if you gave me a sausage and it had herbs in it, I'd be like, I can taste garlic, I can taste maybe this herb, that herb, rosemary, or But when you have that style of food, it's so good. But I'm like, I wouldn't even know where to start making this. Anyway, so we had a nice dinner. And it was good timing because it was what happened next.
All hell broke loose after that. The wind went from like Category 1 cyclone to Category 5. all the tarps nearly.
You were on the phone to Katie, and she was telling you, we just had a heap of wind come through King Ash Bay.
It's like a cyclone just came through. Like, I think we get to now. And then I was like, I gotta go, mate. I gotta go. We're trying to like hold tarps and bloody make sure everything's gonna be all good. And it's just getting dark. You couldn't see sort of outside really, hardly, except for when the lightning came, and then you could sort of see the mangroves. Yeah. And I said to Shredder, because he was the only one that could sort of make it to the front of his boat to drop another anchor. Yeah. I said, if I yell out anchor, make sure you get up the front of your boat and drop another anchor out, Russ, in case we start dragging. Then I'll just look it out, and all of a sudden I'm like, anchor.
Because we would travel at like
the mangroves
15 kilometres an hour just with the wind.
We're travelling backwards up the river. Yeah. And so Shredder quickly drops his anchor out, but it did absolutely nothing. We ended up in the mangroves backwards. And then we're side onto the wind, so all the rain's getting blown in under all the tarps that we set up, and it was a bit
I think his motor ended up wedging us in.
Yeah. That's the only thing that saved us from spinning the whole way around. But it was just an absolute show. I'd had a few beers and maybe even a port or something by then. So I was
vodka and orange.
I was trying to contain my excitement. That's probably the best way to put it.
Oh, you were in the best mood. I'm sitting there like leg twitching, going, it's the worst thing ever. And you're just singing along, country roads, like we got the music's playing. Like, come on. Yeah,
it was
loving
good fun. It was good fun. It was good fun. So it's good fun now.
Yeah. At that stage, we were lucky that none of us had set up our swags yet either.
Yeah.
But we had the tarps up to keep our swags dry, but we hadn't set up for the night yet, knowing that we could get a storm or whatever. So you roll out your swag just before going to bed, just to keep it dry, you know. And that didn't last long for me.
No, we ended up just pretty much waiting. There's nothing we could do during the wind because the wind was just howling in, so there wasn't really anything we could do about it. We just pretty much wait there and see what happened. And then after maybe an hour and a half, something like that, we had a couple more beers or a couple more ports or something, and then you're like let's try and get away from this bank because it's going to get shallow in the morning and we're going to be high and dry.
Yeah, Shredder would be.
Yeah. Well,
unless we turned around, spun around with the run out tide, then I would be. I'd have my beautiful brand new boat up in the mangroves. I remember saying to you, like, oh, should I I'll untie and go out there? And you're like, oh, you want to go out there by yourself? I'm like, oh, well, not really, but it's fine. All right, let's do it. And then it was a bit of an effort. The big lumberjack was getting pulling all three boats in. I think, in fact, I had to drive forward a bit to help you out.
Oh, yeah, because we were well and truly hooked in.
Yeah.
By then, so try to pull the anchor back in and then drive out the middle of the river and then right, okay, let's reassess. We'll drop anchor and see how we go here, and that ended up being fine. The rest of us didn't. Shredder dropped his anchor at the same time, so we ended up having two out, which was good. Ended up working all right. My camp was all dry still.
Yeah.
I'd done such a good job with my tarp and my tarping job. So we pretty much, I think we had a vodka and, we had, you were on the ports and then Shredder, I think Shredder might have had a port or two.
Yeah.
I think I had.
you were having you started with the ports.
Topping up.
Yeah. What did the Shearer's Shandy?
Yeah. Couple of mouthfuls out of the top of the beer and then top them up with port and then. So that was good. Well, we usually do it with like Stone's green ginger or something, but we didn't have that. So port was good. But he had a couple of those and then, rolled swags out. I kicked back, watched a movie, put my AirPods in, put a movie on. I could see you out the corner of my eye still walking around, throwing shit around, huffing and puffing.
It was where I planned on sleeping, which I would have been more dry. It just didn't work out. It just wasn't going to be possible for me to fit there. So I ended up going, all right, well, look, I'll move the massive Yeti 110 and had moved everything out of the way and put it down there. And I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I'll fit here beautifully. And then during the night, the rain got a little bit heavier. And I found out that between the T-top in the boat and where the tarp is, there's a little gap. And all the water was pooling from both sides and dripping straight along this gap, which was straight from head to toe right down the middle of my swag. So I had water dripping on my feet, on my middle, all the way to my face the whole time. And this is in a canvas swag as well. Well, you had a brand new swag. My swag is my wife's one from when she was a kid. So there is holes in it. And anyway, it's all dry now. I swore that as soon as we got back, I'm just going to throw it out.
I remember you saying something about burning it or something like
It was it was 40 kilos afterwards. It was just completely soaked. Like if you picked it up, it was just like water dripping out of it. I did not have a good sleep.
Put it this way. I kicked back and I had a lovely evening's camp. Okay. I had a couple of mosquitoes that weren't overly friendly. But overall, mate, watched a movie, listened to some tunes, listened to a podcast, kicked back, had probably a solid 5-6 hours sleep, right? Which for February in a creek in a 10 is not bad.
Yep.
I woke up in the morning, you're in your swag, drenched.
Yeah.
Shredder would have been okay, but he'd had a few beers as well. So he rolled his swag out of the back of the boat where he didn't have a tarp.
Yeah, he put this went to the effort to put his tarp up on the bow.
And then put all his stuff under the tarp. So all his stuff was dry. And his swag was soaking wet. So he was soaking wet. You were soaking wet. And I was in the middle and... Mate, I was
not even a drip.
100% spot on, mate. Not even a drip, mate. I had one of the best night's sleep I've had for a long time, I reckon. So I couldn't stop laughing for a little while about that. But anyway, it's comes with the territory.
Yeah, I reckon I did get some sleep. I think I fell asleep maybe 3-4 times, but then kept getting woken up to drips on the forehead. Yeah. But anyway, the mozzies were thick in the morning, but we persisted through that, and then spirits were high, I think, for the second morning.
Good. Yeah, very good. We didn't even stop to cook brekkie. Everyone was just keen to get going and do some fishing.
Yeah, that's right.
So Shredder took off, and then you and I jumped in your boat. I just left my teeny parked there, and I ended up jumping it while we packed everything up.
Yeah,
had a big clean up. Bloody cleaned up all our empties and bloody stored everything away, and got sort of prepped for the trip home. But then I jumped in with you, and we went fishing for a bit, and went right up the top again. Took some photos. Cruised around, then ended up coming back to that first creek where I started at. And we went to a different one, didn't we? We went to the second one.
Oh, yes. Not only 100 metres up from there. Yeah, that's right.
And we tried out your new lures.
The party mix, the Barramundi party mix, soft plastics.
So, tried them out, and we both got barrows on those.
We did, yep.
That next creek, and which was good. We could see them on the side scan there. They weren't feeding all that much.
Yeah, well, we were there for, I would say, half an hour. We were just kicking back. And there was just nothing happening. And then I'm like, oh, that looks like a barramundi on the sound. Look at that. And you come and have a look. You're like, oh, and then you go pick your rod back up and start flicking, and bang, I think you were first.
Yeah, got one.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. So they must be sort of moving around a bit now. And Yeah, I
was alternating. I had my 2 Jabbers rods, and I was having one lust and the beast slogger. So one's a spin reel, one's the bait caster. And so, I had, one of your lures on the thread line, like on the spin setup. And I think I caught the first one on the hard body, and then straight away.
Was it like a jackal or something?
Yeah, something like it was not a jackal, but it was something similar. And then I swapped over and then used because you caught one on your one first, I think.
Oh, did I? Yep.
And then then I swapped over and gave that a go, and then I caught a nice one on that as well.
Yep.
And then we went back to the other creek
that
and
you
kept
started
trying
on day one.
Yeah. And then we caught a couple more there.
Yep.
Which was good, and then we sort of the wind was bloody fairly well blowing, so we're like, let's just try and start making our way home and try and go along the coast a bit, and then we'll pull into the next creek and have a spell and a beer. Yeah,
which that communication got lost a little bit because Ash and I pull into the creek. It's like, wait a sec, where's Shredder? He didn't pull in. He's way out wide.
He kept going. He kept sending it. So which was it was all right. We ended up pulling up there and having a spell for a minute, and then had 1 beer or 2 beers. And then cruised around and come out the back way, and then...
little shortcut, or not, it's actually a long cut, but it's a shortcut considering it's really rough out the front. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, it was good though. I think we probably took, 3 hours or something to get home?
Yeah, I reckon.
We got back into the mouth of the river here, like our river, and then... and
Shredder was sitting there anchored up, kicking back, drinking tallies.
Yeah. So that was good. We pulled up there, had a beer with Shredder, and then sent it home up the river, which was good.
And she found another gear, mate.
Yeah. Well,
that little tinny far out.
Yeah, well, I was getting pretty light by the end of it. I was getting very light by the end of it. So
well, that's the thing. Like, you got the positives and negatives with the whole experience of different boats and that. Like my big boat, like I probably used 100 and something litres of fuel. How much did you use with the little tiller steer?
I reckon I used just over 20 litres getting there. I reckon I would have used 30 something litres getting back.
Yeah, so you've used 50-ish litres. I've definitely gone a lot more than double you. Yeah, I probably used 3 times that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon you're a little bit more comfortable.
I can assure you of that.
on the trip home, on the way over, I don't think it would have mattered at all.
Do you have any shade on the way home, mate?
No shade. No shade, mate. No, I should have, but I didn't. No,
we're not going to talk about it.
Mate, it was pretty rugged. Well,
Ash loves aircraft. He likes the idea of having a bit of lift. Anyway, you keep going.
So, when we were leaving, I thought, I better bloody run some 100 mile an hour tape around this canopy because it's got a few dodgy looking connections here. And so we better make them a little bit more robust for our trip home. I underestimated the wind and the wave action out the front on the beach. And so I sort of tried to lead the way coming out, and then it was 4 times worse than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, really?
So, just the wind. It wasn't that.
Why, how windy?
Wasn't that?
I thought it was going to be way worse than what it actually was.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, so it was way better.
No, it was. It was. Oh, you thought it was going to be worse than it was.
Yeah, but how windy it was. I was like, this is going to be horrible. This is going to be like man against the sea stuff.
No, because it had incoming tide, so the tide behind us, just on them flats there where the water was standing up, and I was bloody heavy still. Like I'd only used 25 litres of fuel out of all the fuel that I took. So, and I had I brought a couple of barrows home, and but most of the boat was wet. So, and I had water under the floor and everything as well. So, I was reasonably heavy, and because you're sitting right at the back of the boat, being a tiller steer, trying to drive up over the waves, I'm nose high the whole time, and trying to stay on the plane is a nightmare. And then having the canopy as well, it's just catching the wind. So I'm
lifting you up, lifting the front of the boat, especially. Yeah,
so the bloody one of the clips at the front of the canopy let go, and then I was going to stop to try and pull the canopy back down. I thought, I'll just disconnect the whole thing and just put it on the floor of the boat. But as I've gone to stop, like, because it was fairly rough. Well, that was the roughest part of the trip by far, because it's still on the sand flat, so the waves are still half breaking on the beach, and I've got water coming over the transom. There's only a little tinny, and I'm like, this isn't going to work unless I slide everything forward and put some weight right up the front. And by the time I try to actually get out of that section of it to try and do it, the other clip let go at the front, and the whole lot just turned into a big sail and just went straight over my head backwards.
Oh, no.
And so I pulled up, untied all, because I had everything tied down. So I untied everything, and then moved the esky right to the front, and then moved my spare fuel to the front, and try to retie all my stuff down again. And I said to you, Mikey, mate, you go in front for a minute and just try and give me a spell for a bit. And it was blowing 20 knots, so you couldn't hear anything. But you're like, I'll go in front. I tried to follow you for a bit, and it was like, mate, I couldn't keep up because it was just too slow.
Yeah, and I was trying to go as slow as possible, but sort of still trying to stay on the plane, right? So I'm not just churning the whole time all the way home. So yeah, I was going as slow as possible. So every now and then I would stop, and anyway. Yeah.
And then Shredder ended up going in front.
Yeah.
And then he kept going. Yeah. I ended up cutting in close and sticking close to the beach, and then just sort of trying to ride sort of inside the sort of break a little bit in places.
Yeah.
And because I could go in half a foot of water. So I was just trying to go as shallow as possible sort of thing, and try and save myself as much. And then pulled into the next creek, and had a spell in there, had a beer, and tried to stretch my back a little bit, which was a little bit sore from from that. And then we watched Shredder. You called him on the radio several times, telling him to pull up, and which he did pull up. He obviously noticed we went behind him, so he pulled up, but he figured that we'd gone in there for a break, and he kept going into the, he thought he was, might as well just keep going, because he was already, out around the corner and out of the shallow stuff, so wasn't no point in him coming all the way back. So I ended up all right though. We come back in the river, mate, and had a couple of beers, and cruise up the river, which was beautiful coming back up the river. Yeah. It was sensational. Like the tide was pushing in, so we had the water behind us again, which was good. Noticed the massive difference in the river from the day before. The day when we left on the previous morning, the river was like dry season time, nice and clear water, like fairly clear, all salt water. Coming back, as soon as we turned into the MacArthur coming up, it was like a bloody brown snake. It was just like iced coffee colour water.
Yeah, iced coffee. Yep.
Obviously all that rain had finally made it down to us. Like all that, that flood water made it down to us. So it was all dark brown, and which was interesting.
Yeah.
Come back, I went and had a hose off, and then jumped in the pool. Had a couple of beers.
Well, that would have been happening the whole time, that little noise.
Yeah.
That noise.
Yeah.
I'm just going to turn that right down.
Perfect. Come back, had a hose off, and then jumped in the pool. Shredder came back to my place. He jumped in the pool as well, and had a cool down, had a couple more beers, and then that was pretty much me, mate. I had a shower and went to bed.
Yeah, I slept for 12 hours or something that night. Yeah.
I didn't realise how sunburned I got, and it might be half a decent segue. I was going to say sort of a new segment to the thing, to the podcast, is like some of the different products and stuff that we use.
Yep.
And I didn't realise how sunburned I got until I got home and jumped in the pool, and then as soon as I went in the cool water, like my face was just on fire. Because I just wear, like, I only wear a cap. I always wear a cap. I hate sunscreen.
Yeah.
I hate the oiliness of it. It's, it just really, really disturbs me. So I bought a couple of these things that I saw online. The Aussie fella makes them. They're called a cap hat. And look, they're probably not the most stylish thing going. But I had them in the boat. And I didn't wear one until we got. Well, actually, I couldn't find where I'd even hidden them in the boat because I packed that much bloody crap. So I didn't find one until we got back in the river on the way home, and I actually wore it on the way home because one of the good things about it is when you wear it, your cap doesn't blow off in the boat. Of course,
yeah.
Because it's basically you anyone that wears a cap, a baseball cap, trucker cap, whatever, you put it over the top, and it basically covers your ears, the back of your neck. And then it sort of clips on and you pull it tight with a little toggle string and stops your hat from blowing off. And it's a really, really good product, and I really like it for instead of wearing sunscreen, keeps you covered up. But I couldn't find one for until we got back at the river, so it didn't really serve much of a purpose for me. But yeah, I think. They're a top bloody thing though. I reckon. I bought two of them. I thought I'll have one in the boat all the time, have one in my work boat, and then have one in my tackle box. So I've always got one there. So if ever I'm going out, I can just throw it on over the top of the cap and yeah.
Yeah, I usually try and look after myself. Every now and then I'll use sunscreen. I've got the big Akubra wide brim Akubra, but I still got absolutely smashed. Like I haven't been sunburnt like that in years. Like was what we got back from the trip maybe 4 days ago, and that all my nose is all peeled, my cheeks have peeled, everything. I can still feel it. It's all flaky.
Well, that's the thing, because we had overcast the whole time. It was nice and cool. We had a nice breeze, so you didn't feel hot at all.
No.
And it was overcast the whole time, but that's the worst thing, I suppose, is that, you don't realise.
UV rays still get you, yeah.
So, yeah, definitely well and truly cleaned us up.
You were talking about the floodwaters coming back, the colour of the river, and that just jogged me memory. We did a trip to Borroloola. We drove in yesterday, run a few errands and go over feed and that. And, we went and had a look at the crossing, the big bridge there over the MacArthur River.
Yep.
And I got a little bit of footage there to show you. It is flowing. It's probably a metre-ish over the old crossing. So still 15 metres below what it was last year after the cyclone, or 20 metres below, but it is in flood, or I shouldn't say flood, but it is.
Well, it is. I mean,
it is in flood, yeah.
If the big bridge wasn't there, like you wouldn't be able to get to the other side, so you'd be cut off.
So it is a little bit of a flush, which we always talk about this with probably every single podcast we've ever recorded where we've talked about river heights and that. We talk about a flush, like having the river having a good flush out is always good. We don't want a massive flood to come through and dump a whole heap of sand all the way down the river like last year. But something that can come and actually move some of that sand would be nice. So we're still early days, really. Like, I mean, it is late wet. What do we got? The 14th of February. We're recording this.
Valentine's Day, mate.
Today?
I'm about to take you for a nice day.
A scooter.
A scooter. It is good, and they're catching barras in there too. Because I was in town again today. I was at the chicken shop.
Oh, in Borroloola, they're catching them.
Yeah.
What do they? Land based, like local people there.
Yeah. Locals in the shop this morning buying a heap of hooks up and stuff. They said they're getting some good barras.
They thought they must look for like little back eddies and that, because in that fast moving water, it'd be impossible to fish. Yeah.
We find little back eddies and put live bait and.
Yeah.
So there's barras around.
Yeah, unreal. Well, there's barras everywhere. At the moment, I reckon it's been the end of 2024 was really, really good for barra fishing. Like we did pretty good, and like the reports. Well, in fact, the best fishing report you can get while you're at King Ash Bay is at the dump, because you're not meant to put fish frames into the bins around camp. You're meant to take them up to the dump and dump them. So if you go up there and do a dump run, and you can usually get a good fishing report by what frames you see sitting at the dump there, and. Even just recently, a few days back, there's bugger all people here, but there was some good sized barra frames up at the dump. Yeah. Ooh. That's the fishing report. Do you have some stuff on your list there?
Oh, mate, I've got.
I keep breaking this.
Oh, not really. Like nothing we need to go through really, because we're gonna have heaps of stuff.
Yeah, we want to just like in our last podcast, before we started recording, we put a message in the Rod Locker and on our Guys in the Golf Facebook page, asking if you've got any questions. We're about to record a podcast. Can you send them through and we'll try and answer them. And last time it went really well. A lot of people asked some questions. And I think I've been getting alerts the whole time we've been recording now.
Yeah, we've got a few, I reckon. Which one do you want to go through? One on yours and I'll go through one on mine. We'll go one for one.
Yeah, Roger.
So if I'll just go on the on our Facebook page and then you can go on
Rod Locker.
On the Rod Locker.
Yeah. Which just a shout out to the Rod Locker. So that's our Facebook group. It's a closed group. So it's not just random people from the public that are seeing these posts. So it's a good spot. You can talk about fishing, about King Hatch Bay, the Northern Territory, anything. You could post about Donald Trump if you wanted. That would be welcomed.
Yeah, we love Elon.
Yeah, we do so.
Or he's changed his name now. His new Twitter handle is I'm pretty sure it's something like Harry Bowles. I think is his.
What about, and the other fella that's working under him in the.
That's why.
Okay, right.
Yeah, because there was such an uproar from the young fella that's had an old Twitter handle or something like that, which was Big Bowls or something like that. So because there was such a blow up about it, so he's changed his handle to Harry Bowles, which. I thought was just hilarious, but anyway.
Let me go first because it's a question for you. It's from Rob Rowe. Rob Rowe is always an active member in here. I recognise the name and the profile photo. It's a long question, but I'll just read the whole thing. Questions for Ash. What is the most productive time of year for crabbing? Are there times when it's more productive inside the creeks and main channels than out at the flats? Can you elaborate on why there are differences? Is late October to early November a reasonable time to expect to be able to catch a feed on the inside creeks, such as the Davies, the Fletchers, etc.? Do they get as far upstream as, say, the Poison or Batten Point and the like?
Okay, we'll run through that bit by bit. So the first question in that was...
times of year.
Best time of year. So generally, like now, it's still the crabs are fairly quiet because it's still wet season time. There's still plenty of fresh water coming down.
But you could still catch them. There are crabbers working right now.
Yeah, and you'll catch crab, but it's not the best time.
No.
So generally, April, May, say May is around the best time. That's when you're going to get more males, full males. Generally speaking, that's the better time, and they're going to be at the mouths of the rivers and on the flats out the front. Well, that's the general rule of thumb. And then as you move through the year a little bit later on towards, say, August, the males will slow down a bit and you'll start to get a lot more females. And again, that'll be out the front.
On the flats.
But you'll get the males in the rivers, like up in the creeks and stuff. And then as you move a little bit further on again, like towards the end of the year, when did he ask about? Like October, November?
October, November.
Generally, then it's starting to quiet down. You will still get females out in the flats, and you can get males in the flats as well. But generally speaking, it's starting to slow down a bit, and you'll get the older crabs, which are not as good. Even if they're full and big, they're not as tasty.
Which is fine for people that are going to eat them that night. Yeah, they're not as tasty, but they'll at least stay alive. Like you guys, when you catch them, to try and send them off to Darwin to get shipped down south.
As soon as it gets hot, it's a lot harder to keep them. So in the dry season, when it's nice and cool, the crabs will live for forever in the baskets with wet hessian on them.
Yeah,
they'll live for ages. Like it's not a problem at all. You can keep them a week. Like we're a week turnaround. Like we only send them out once a week, obviously. So, and they're fine. You have almost no mortality rate. Whereas towards the end of the year, when it's hot, predominantly you're getting the older male crabs that are nowhere near as strong, and they'll sulk and die, and so your mortality rate starts going up, and that's when you've got to work out when it's viable to keep fishing or not fishing. So, and those crabs generally it's the last shell that they'll have. Obviously, crabs change their shell as they grow, and when they're the older males, like it's their last shell. And if it's so they're the ones that generally they have barnacles on them and green slime and that growing on them and stuff like that. They might be big crab and full, but they'll be old and they won't be as good to eat either.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
The final part to that was, do they get as far upstream as say the Poison or Batten?
Yeah.
So up near King Ash Bay.
I know of people that have caught crabs right up near Borroloola in the middle of the dry season when it's all salt water up there.
Oh wow.
Which is another 35, 40 k's inland from us. Obviously, is not going to be as productive as going down to the coast. I know, but years and years ago, talked to someone like my old man when he was in fisheries, coming down here when there used to be a lot more crabbers, dozens of crabbers. There used to be crab pots right the way up the river to where King Ash Bay is now. That's where the guys used to work to years and years ago. This is going back 30 years, a lot longer than that. So they used to work all the way back up to King Ash Bay. So obviously now none of the commercial guys will work inside the mouths much. Predominantly, it's all outside the mouths.
Yep. Or at least right down near the mouth, yeah.
Yeah, right down near the mouth, yeah.
Yeah, rightio. Well, I hope that answers your questions, Bob Rowe. You got one coming up, or do you just want me to fire another one at you? Oh, in fact, I'll just quickly, since you don't have it open.
Yeah.
How come Ash is always, this is from Darren Crawley from Masturbate. How come Ash is always cleaning the fish?
Well, we have this rule that the fellow who catches them has to clean them.
Well, it has a reply, and a fellow named Adrian Glasbrook, he says it's only fair as he's usually the one catching them all. Yeah.
To be fair, usually Mikey's the one wheeling the camera, so.
I've usually got my hands full. How's the polycraft holding up, mate?
Oh, good. I like it.
Yep, that's
like it.
From Tony Meredith.
Yep.
Tiny Mick Ditton. I reckon we had one from Tiny Mick last week. Are you going to podcast Royale 2.0?
Or you're going to shout us?
Yeah, mate.
Nah. We would love to, 100%. We did speak about it, but it's just on for both of us this year is probably off our radar because it's just, it's a big trip for us to do for one weekend. Yeah. And, I had a massive year last year in terms of traveling. I did Podcast Royale. I went to the States, went to the Kimbleys for 2 weeks, and I did almost no work. So I don't want to end up with half a house. so I'm going to stay here. so I'm going to stay here.
That's classic.
I'll be in big trouble, I think, if I went on any more holidays for the next little while. I'll be in, as much as I would love to have gone, I really, really would have loved to have gone, but unfortunately, no. And also, it's on Anzac. It's right on Anzac Day, pretty much, isn't it? It's the day after Anzac Day, something.
I reckon, right? Which was it was very close to Anzac Day last year, but now it's.
Well, last year I did the dawn service here, and then as soon as dawn service finished, I drove to Darwin and then met up with you, did the podcast with Andy, and then we flew down together. So anyway, look, as much as we would absolutely love to be there for it, 100%, and if there's still tickets available, get amongst it and go and watch it because it was one of the best things I've ever done in my life. Honestly, I've never had so much fun. We've talked about it heaps, obviously on the podcast
it was
previously,
awesome.
But
it was so good.
It was so much fun. Yeah, it was so good.
Well, if your uncle's an eccentric billionaire, just tell. We would love to go still.
If someone wants to sponsor us to go down for it, we'll definitely make an appearance. But I think at the moment though, no, it's not looking likely.
Brett Stevens, do you guys have more luck using live bait or trolling? He says trawling, but trolling with lures for barra fishing. I would say neither. I would say casting lures is what we do the most. Casting at snags, creek mouths, gutters, any form of place you think a barra might be. There has to be a reason, like a bit of barren.
All depends on what you're doing too, though. And where you are. Obviously, there's all different sorts of scenarios. I think we definitely catch more barra casting lures because that's what we do more often than anything else.
There are other people that that
only like they won't cast.
they'll go trolling, and that they'll troll all day, and they will catch barra.
Yeah.
You certainly will cover more ground.
I think you generally get bigger barra trolling. Like, seems to be that way. Like, he seems, yeah. You look, go watch like Snagger Barra on YouTube
true.
and stuff. Like,
even
Andy as well.
He's a troller. Yep, and also
they get big
Thumbburn.
Yep. So I think it all depends, mate. Like, it's for me, I get pretty bored trolling.
Yeah, it's not good for videoing as well, so I don't do it.
Yeah. Well, it makes it hard, I suppose. Live baiting's pretty much the same. Like, it gets a little bit boring. Like, if you're just sitting, if you're casting lures, then you're constantly doing something, and it keeps you sort of I
don't mind live baiting. Like, I've got a bit of or any bait fishing. I've got a bit of a sort of soft spot for it, and I quite like it. You're certainly going to catch more species with live baiting.
Yeah.
If you're just trolling along, the chances of a barra grabbing it is quite high. If you're live baiting, like the chances of a cod or a catfish or a shark or something, it starts to increase as well.
A lot more bycatch,
Yeah, which can be good. But if you're targeting barra, then hope that answers that. Chris McCumsty, keep up the great work with your videos and the podcast, guys. Thanks, Chris. Here we go. Michael Dubois. So this is Mick. This is Bullfrogs Mick. You've seen Mick in several videos.
Which Mick is it? I want to go there.
Buffaloes. Is Bullfrog really related to Kermit? And Shredder, is he really related to Ivan?
The jury's still out, but I think so. Yeah. Guilty as charged, I reckon.
Oh, dear. And then your Mrs. Katie replies to that and says, and is Ant's hair actually a wig? Ant with the big long dreadies.
It could be.
Oh,
it could be.
Pull his hair and find out. I would not.
Yeah. You'll have to ask him in person.
We've got an anonymous one here. Who's caught more meter plus barra, Ash or his brother?
Yeah. Anonymous, all right. Yeah. Look, I'll answer this a little bit like that question about why am I always cleaning the fish. When you're the one that's always got to tie the knots and drive the boat and guide people, it's more likely they're going to catch the meteries, mate. So yes, I think my brother has caught a few more meteries than me.
All right,
good on you, Donnie.
Thanks, Donnie. Mike Kennard, are you guys going to do an Australian tour? Imagine the content you could create. Again, back to the eccentric billionaire. We just need a sponsor to pay us.
When he comes out of the woodwork, mate.
Yeah. We'd love all that sort of stuff. Imagine being able to be like content creators for a living. You bloody hang up the bloody crab strings and just create content with me, and that would be unreal. That would be an absolute dream. But yeah,
absolutely,
it's just a long way away. That's all.
My Toyota, your boat, mate.
Yeah, good call. Okay. Mike Kennard again, the same one that asked the last question. Can rod holders be the official name for members in this group, please? It's got connection and innuendo. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't remember who first started it, but there's been a couple of people in there that have got g'day rod holders, like in there when they start to write a message or a comment. I reckon it's perfect because you got like Alpha Blokes, they've got their trendsetters and like every podcast sort of has their if they've got a group, they've got their thing. And I reckon rod holders that works perfectly.
Perfect.
Nico Martin, we all know Nico.
Oh.
I haven't met him in person yet, but I think he's doing a trip this year, hopefully. So
hopefully, mate.
Yeah. He says, are the crabs going to be better this year than last?
I hope so, mate.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll be better this year. Well, unless we get another bloody cyclone or something and upset the apple cart again.
Yeah.
Hopefully they will be. Hopefully they will be better, mate. For sure. And when you're in Darwin, you send me a message and I'll try and get some to you.
Yeah.
True story, mate. When you're up in Darwin next, let us know and I'll try and get your feet up there.
Thanks, Nico. That's all the ones that have come through up until now. in the rod locker. You start reading the first one. It's about now. I need to go pee really bad again.
Bloody hell, mate. You're right or what?
What do you want from me?
We already had one from Jack Christensen before, didn't we? G'day, fellas. What rigs do you use when targeting goldies on live bait? Was that? No, that's a different one, eh? Well, to be honest with you, we don't really target goldies on live bait at all. Like, we're usually using either just jigs or soft plastics like gulps or something like that, or just squid. Like, and generally speaking, when we're bottom fishing like that, we had a paternoster rig, just like a small snapper lead because there's not much current here, not much tidal movement, so just a small snapper lead, and about 200-300 mil above that, just have a little dropper with like a 5060 beaked hook, and with a bit of squid, like half a Californian squid on it. That's usually what we do for catching goldies, and that's, I think, probably 90% of the goldies we've caught have been in that, like, that sort of, yeah.
Did you mention paternoster
sort of thing?
rig?
Yeah, mentioned paternoster rig. Sometimes if I'm using...
Hook. Mention one hook.
Yeah, one hook. We only ever use one hook. We don't run like a paternoster with 2 or 3 hooks on it because that just one. I've seen way too many hooks in hands and stuff from people grabbing the leader and pulling the second hook through their bloody hand and that. So usually just the one hook on the paternoster rig. Mum's asked a question. Cabby.
Oh, my mum.
Yeah, your mum, not my mum. Are there any signs that the crabs will be back on the menu this year? Hopefully, yeah. So I think we've already sort of spoken about that briefly, but certainly, hopefully, the river is up a little bit and it's getting a bit of a flush. I think if worst case scenario, it should still be better than last year. Like, it surely can't get any worse than that. Fingers crossed. We'll see how we go. It's looking good at the moment. In terms of it being better than last year. Yeah,
it's all right, Cabby. I know a guy. If there are any crabs out there, I'll get you a feed. Don't worry.
Yeah, we've got to pay rent for the podcast studio. Bloody hell. Kevin Blatchford, the legend himself. Will there be a mechanical bull at the next Barclay Parramatta Bulls? I'm in.
Its name's Mikey.
Its name's Mike. Actually, yeah, Kevin, we can do that. We can throw a rope around Mike and you can ride him if you want.
It's more of a buffalo than a bull.
We'll see what happens, mate. It's all up in the air. That might be a biannual event or something at this stage. Who knows? We'll see what happens, mate. I'm keen to do it again.
We're out of the loop these days, so yeah, not sure on the chatter on if that's happening again.
What else we got? Connor Rogers.
Big one from Connor.
I'm actually writing this as I'm listening to the last week's pod. Keep up the good work, guys. Love it. Question is, what would be the best time of year to head up and spend a few weeks to catch some good fish, both in the river and out the islands for some reef fish? And I understand that the wet season is probably not the greatest. Also, Mikey, how's the new boat? Have you been able to use it a fair bit yet? Looks like it would be a real fish raiser. Cheers, legends. Have a beer for me until I get up there, and I'll have one with this. Yeah, good on you, mate. Thanks, Connor. Best time of year, I get asked this all the time. So I like and predominantly for fishing, for fishermen, fisher women, fisher people.
People that want to come here for fishing.
Got to be politically correct these days. Nondescript fisher things. The swing seasons, like Mikey sometimes refers to it as the shoulders of the year. So early in the year, say March through April into May, is a good time because we're going. And I call it the swing season. Like, we're swinging from the wet season into the dry season. Generally speaking, you get the winds sort of changing around a bit. So you're going from those northerlies to the southeasterlies. The trade winds are switching around, so you get some good days to get outside and do some fishing. It's also, not that we have much of a runoff here per se, like a lot of other places. It's definitely good barra fishing. So the barras are generally moving back up to where they sit for the dry season. They're moving around.
They've still got their normal breeding habits. So they're still moving down to the mouth for breeding and back up for around. So there's a lot of movement. They'll. Maybe it's the water warmer. They could potentially be sitting higher in the water column and feeding more. And
they're moving around and that. So and then they're feeding more. So that's good. Otherwise, at the end of the dry season into the build up. So we're going from the dry season into the wet season.
October, November.
Even sort of September. September, October. I know for us, our busiest time by far is October. So from mid-September to mid-November is definitely our busiest time. For fishermen, and that's like speak me personally with the lodge.
Yeah,
that's when we're busiest.
October at the end of the year, at the start of the year, would it be April?
No, say March, April. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, March, April, even into May.
There'd be some weeks in say March, April that you're booked out for the next 4 years.
Yeah, and same as October. October's always booked. So.
But if someone wanted to come here in July, you could probably book today.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it shows but that's keen fishermen that are coming for fishing, usually to target barramundi. And
I'll tell you what the difference is between the start of the year and the end of the year. At the end of the year, you're never going to be cut off by flooding or anything like that.
Very unlikely is a better way of putting it.
Yeah, if you're coming in October, we're not going to have a cyclone.
Very unlikely.
Yeah.
You can't say never, man.
Well, it's something that it'd be unprecedented. Let's say.
Oh, we heard that word a lot at the start of last year, didn't we?
What's that? With the
unprecedented amount of rain
with the flooding. Yeah. Oh, well, it happened 20 years ago. The first year I was here, we had as much. So, but it would be definitely very unlikely to get stuck anywhere because of flooding in October, even November. Generally speaking, we don't get much rain until Christmas or even after Christmas.
Yeah.
Other than a few storms and stuff, we don't generally get any monsoon until then. Whereas early in the year, it could potentially be better fishing. However, if we have a late wet season or a big wet season, the roads, and generally speaking, it's not here that gets people unstuck.
That's right.
It's in Queensland. And down south where roads get cut off, that causes people problems getting here.
Yeah.
So for example, at the moment, if you wanted to come from Townsville, it's all flooded.
Yeah.
So whereas it's fine here, like you can come from Darwin to King Ash Bay, no worries at all.
You could come in a 2-wheel drive Hyundai XL if you wanted.
Yeah, 100%. The road into King Ash Bay is as good as I've ever seen it.
It's unreal.
The 22 k's of dirt, it's better than the bitumen. It is absolutely beautiful. I went to town yesterday. We went to town yesterday.
Yep.
And it is 100% beautiful.
No corrugations.
It's been fully rebuilt last year the whole way, so it's 100% really, really good.
Yeah, the final part to that, asking about the boat, something about...
have you been able to use it?
We have been using it.
Flat out,
I think pretty much every time I've gone out with it, except for that last trip, which we spoke about in detail, where Ash was in a boat with me, a different boat. Other than that, every time I've taken it out over the last few weeks, it's been with Ash, and we've been loving it. The boat's now caught its first red emperor, its first golden snapper, its first mangrove jack, tuna, obviously plenty of barra. Yeah, it's been unreal. It's
very nice. Very nice.
It's an absolute game changer. It is. Yeah, we've used it a dozen times, and I'm still kicking myself on, or still pinching myself. That's the one. I can't believe that that's in my shed.
It's a very, very nice boat.
Yeah.
Thanks, Connor. Cheers, mate. Next time we go to Daniel McMillan. Boys, I'm doing a lap in the van with the family this year. I'm planning on being in King Ash Bay in August for my birthday. I'm keen to get a barra shore-based. Can you give me some hot tips without giving away any secret spots? I'll see you at the pub for a Rum Legends. Well, if you see us at the pub for a few rums, mate, and that's your shout, then guaranteed we can give you some red hot tips. In all seriousness, there's like Jenny Flats here at King Ash Bay, people fish there all the time and people catch barras there all the time. I know I listened to Mikey's old man Normie on the Talisman of Tinny years ago when he was president of the club, talking about a fella catching a meatery off the bank there. This year, talking to people catching barras at their camp at night time. You know, cooking dinner and then, catching barras off the bank at Jenny Flats right here at King Ash Bay. People catching barras at the boat ramp. And so, yeah, absolutely, you can catch barras off the bank here, mate. And if you're up here and shout us a few rums, we might even be able to dial it in, dial it right in for you. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
just to give realistic expectations, I would say
not everyone catches a barra off the bank.
Yeah, if you're here for 7 days and you had a line in the whole time, you'll definitely get a few queenies and some catfish,
cod,
catfish, sharks, stuff like that. And if you're lucky, you'll get a barra. Yeah, but it happens all the time. People catch barra on Jenny Flats all the time. But yeah, I just want to make sure it's a realistic that they're not.
Yeah. You're not going to catch 50 barras off there on the first day you're here. That's unrealistic.
You're not going to catch 3 in the first day you're here. But
if you've never caught a barra before, mate, and you put some effort in, then absolutely you can. I know, even some people that only bring a real small tinny and they only go across the others directly across on the boat ramp and troll up and down there and they catch barras. It's all possible. I'm gonna pump some water out, eh?
Yeah, Roger.
Because before I die,
I think you're gonna have to sneak behind me, or I'm gonna have to move out. Hold on.
Intermission.
Intermission. Hold on.
Oh, I was really trying to hold out like that. But,
I just saw a brand newie come out. We'll get to that one. So that was Daniel McMillan, was it? Yeah. So Daniel, So we look forward to seeing you in August, mate. Julie Miles is the next one, which I know Julie. She came to King Ash Bay in 2024. I think she's a big fan of the Jabbers lures. I'm pretty sure she got some from Jabbers there. Hi guys, any details yet on the Easter fishing comp for this year? Keep up the great work. Love the podcasts and Mikey's videos. Cheers. I have absolutely zero idea about the Easter fishing comp. There's been no chatter about it. All I would say is to stay tuned to the King Ash Bay Fishing Club Inc. Facebook page. There's the other Facebook page, which is just called King Ash Bay. I run that page. That's my page. It's more of like a King Ash Bay fan page, you'd call it. But King Ash Bay Fishing Club Inc., that's more like a notice board. That's the official Facebook page of King Ash Bay Fishing Club. And if there's a fishing comp this year in Easter, it'll be announced on there. I might have, if there is one, I assume I'll get us to make a poster for it. So I will probably have information on that if it happens. But I have absolutely no information on that. Terry Adams, you's been for a beer early May. Cheers. You's be keen for a beer early May. Yeah, you want a beer in early May?
Oh. Yeah, why not?
All right, Terry. We'll see you then. Have you got room there?
Let's go.
Daniel Sparrow is the next one. I have met Daniel Sparrow, I think, at the markets at Fred's Pass. I think he sent messages to me before. I'm pretty sure I know Daniel Sparrow. Hey, legends. I know distance is an issue, but do you think you'll ever be in a position to do fortnightly podcasts? Mikey, there's a ton of people I would love to see as guests on the podcast. The first one would be Hirokai Nakamura, before he leaves for Japan. Craig from Craig's Fishing Warehouse. These blokes must have a stack of funny and interesting stories. Cheers, keep it up. We absolutely would love to have everyone like that on the podcast, and that's the dream, that's the plan. Also, as you said, distance is an issue. I live 1,000 kilometres away from Ash, so we do podcasts whenever we can.
We try and get one out.
Weekly when we can, but then like over Christmas this year and last year we had a bit of a break every now and then. Yeah, so we do it as regular as we can. If it's as, I don't know, it's just as much as we can. It really is. Yeah, we've got some ideas for a few guests locally here. sometimes we're lucky enough that I pack up the podcast kit and take it back to Darwin, knowing that Ash is going to be there next week or something like when I'm up there. And we have done a couple in Darwin.
Even we did the trip over west and took everything and we ended up doing with Snagger, with Azza, with Mullet of the West this morning.
Yeah. But people like that, definitely Hero. I'm not sure if he would go well on a podcast because he speaks okay English. But I know when I've heard
Darwin legend.
land-based legend. Yeah. I learnt heaps from him. Yeah, when I first moved there, or watched every video of his just to try and find out where he's fishing and all that. Yeah. But I know he gets very. I remember seeing one time before he gets really embarrassed about his English, which he doesn't need to be. He shouldn't be, but he gets embarrassed that his English isn't very good. But yeah, there's heaps of people in Darwin that we would love to have on.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. There was more there. You might want to unlock that, Bruss.
Sorry, mate.
So thanks, Daniel Sparrow, for that one. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
We're going as much as we can.
John Mahoney, I have a song suggestion if you'd like to consider it.
Go on. Tell us what it is.
Martius Tell is the artist. Song is Venetian Blinds.
Okay.
We'll have to... it's definitely a new one for me. We'll have a look into that, eh? And then, do you want me to go to the next one?
Yep.
Ken Kirby, like you guys and the show, will we see the Mad Mullet again soon? Cheers from Ken in Gladstone. Well, you're closer to him than we are at this current moment. You will see Mullet again, I'm absolutely sure of it. He's planning a trip over here. We spoke to him the other day. We've mentioned it probably 1,000 times on every podcast. We're very keen to have Mullet back. He's flat out working over on the East Coast at the moment. Obviously, a bad crab season last year. He's still got to make $1, so he's doing his thing over on the East Coast in North Queensland, CQ.
Yeah.
So he's doing his thing over there. We were talking the other day for a little while. He's planning on a trip this year, so we'll see how we go. Hopefully he'll be back over.
He's doing really well for himself. He seems really, really happy.
Yeah.
It was a video call. We probably spent an hour on the video with him. And he's telling us a few yarns and typical Mullet, exactly what you'd expect. He had us in hysterics the whole time.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed.
Wanted us to catch a goanna for him, send it over and stuff like that. So it's fairly standard sort of Mullet type stuff. So he's doing very well. And then Nathan Billsborough from Jabbers.
Jabbers Australia.
He's letting us know that Big Brad's going to be here this weekend. Good chance to grab him and do a potty.
So Brad's the other half of Jabbers Australia.
Yep. And we're going to try and catch up with him. He'll be here tomorrow, I think.
Yep, Saturday. Yep.
Yeah. So he did message us and let us know he's going to be in town. So I think he's going to try and smash out some fishing while he's here, because that's obviously the purpose of his trip. But yeah, we'll try and catch up with him and see if we can't do at least something with him while he's here and get something done. Yeah. What do you reckon, mate?
Well, we've gone over. It's only 16 minutes of happy hour left, so it must be your shout. I only shout during happy hour. Could be a storm front coming too.
Yeah, windy outside, but looks of it. Getting a bit dark.
Song nominations. We've got the...
what was that song? We got to look that song up.
Yeah, I've screenshotted it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Roger.
So, I've got a playlist called Suggestions, which I add songs to. So, if ever... I try and stay on top of it. If I ever see a suggestion, I'll chuck it in there. Unless it's an absolute banger that I know straight away, I'll just add it to the list.
Before we get into the song, I'll just shout out to Normie. Cheers.
My dad.
Cheers, Normie.
The port barrel, the one instruction I had, he didn't tell me I can't drink all of the port. He's just told me that I have to keep the barrel full. So I've been topping it up daily.
The rent for the podcast studio is going to be fairly high this season.
Man. All right, so we've got song nominations. We have a playlist on Spotify called Gulf Mud Crabbers. We add songs to it each podcast. We nominate a song. It usually has a story. Sometimes it's just a really cool song that we happen to like. It might be a new song from an artist that we really like. It could be an old song that you remember from growing up, and it means something to you, and it has a really good story behind it. The story for I've got one artist, 2 songs that I'm going to nominate today. It's Brantley Gilbert. The reason why I'm nominating him is it was 2013 when I moved to King Ash Bay. And Ash was the one. I always sort of had a soft spot for country music, but I wouldn't have said I was a fan, but I did appreciate it. After meeting Ash, he really introduced me to it, and he got me first artist was Alan Jackson, then Chicken Fried. Who's that?
Zach Brown.
Zach Brown, the Zach Brown band, and Kenny Chesney, and a few bands like that, and that's where my true love for country music. And I've actually gone into a little different stream where I don't even know what the style of country is called. We've spoken about this before. It's almost like a rock country, like that Reload song that I nominated for the list.
Yeah.
That like it's a bit tougher, like it's heavier guitars and that, but it's still genuine country. Not like Beyonce, anyway.
Not like Beyonce. Not like Beyonce.
Anyway, so it's genuine country, but it's a different thing. And Brantley Gilbert is exactly in this genre that I really, really like, and. I think I do already have a Brantley Gilbert or 2 song in there, but I don't have the 2 songs. There was 2. Wait for it. There was, Rolex on a Redneck. I like that. It's a bit quirky and and funny. Like the whole, that one. But a really, really cool song is "Kick It in the Sticks," which has had 100 million listens on Spotify.
Yeah.
So those
BG's good, mate. I love BG.
Those are my 2 Brantley Gilbert songs that I'm nominating for this week. So those are 2 legit bangers being added to the list, which now has, I don't know how many songs, but I know, we're over 1,000 people that follow the playlist. Golf Mud Crabbers. What do you got, Ash?
Oh, I've got a new one. It's come out not that long ago, I reckon. It's one I was pumping on the way, and it was just perfect the other morning. Sun's coming up, absolute glass off, cruising along down the coast. And it's just one I literally downloaded that morning or the night before. Fella I've never heard of before, never listened to any of his stuff. But it's like a cool, real catchy sort of like a real cruisy vibe to it. Like a lot of good country songs, it's got like some double entendres and stuff in there. It's called Need To, Gavin Adcock. I think we played it that night when we were getting blown up the creek.
I reckon we've already added it to the list. It was already
not that one. I think we did. We added another one the other night, which might have been the new Jelly Roll one, which was pretty with Brandon Lake, which is Hard Fought Hallelujah.
Yeah,
that was a pretty cool one too. But I listened to that heaps the other day. So that was pretty cool. Oh, and while we're talking about music, shout out to Luke Geiger the other day. That he where we put something in the rod locker or did a post the other day. Yeah, so Luke.
Just on our Facebook page, on the Guys and Golf page, of us drunk cooking barramundi.
He was the first bloke to comment on there. He came over last year, did the Bulls and Barra for us, and good luck to you tonight, mate. Although this won't come out for a while, but I think tonight he's playing the Melon Fest in Chinchilla, I reckon. Awesome. So, which was a thing that I was really going to try and hopefully get to because I've got another mate, Luke, that lives there. So, good luck tonight, mate. And if you haven't heard of him before, jump on Spotify and download some of his stuff. He's pretty red hot. Up and coming.
Luke Geiger, Australian country artist. Yeah. His song Ride is in the playlist, in the Golf Mud Crabbers playlist.
We might even have a couple of his in the playlist.
I think we do, yeah.
Yeah. So he's red hot, mate. He I think was a chippy or something by trade before, and he's gone all in on his music career. So absolutely pumped for him, mate.
His brother's a talented muso as well.
What a mad dog his brother is too. Yeah. What do they call him? Big Sexy, I think they call him. He's a legend, mate. Bloody mad keen fisherman too. So he drives trains.
Coal trains. Yeah.
Yeah, what a legend. Yeah, them boys absolutely off tap.
Yeah, I met, when I had a chat with him, him and his son, I think, they watch me videos, so that's pretty cool.
What do you reckon, mate?
We could probably sneak one round of happy hour. We'll go get like 12 Captain Morgans.
Okay. We'll be in trouble, but...
Oh, yeah. What's changed? Nah. All right, let's shut it down, Bruss.
Shut it down, Bruss.
Did I explain that good, the country thing?
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Yep. No, I think that's good.
Oh, look at that.
Guides in the Gulf.